positive and negative impacts to the Kosciuszko environment. One negative impact includes human-induced climate change. Human-induced climate change due to an increase in greenhouse gas emissions poses major threats to the alpine and subalpine ecosystem. Trends towards increases in temperature and changes in precipitation will lead to a major loss of snow. By 2050, the CSIRO predicts that temperatures will have increased by 2.9 degrees and precipitation will have decreased by 24% from 1990. The effects of climate change could potentially lead to the loss of the alpine ecosystem. This would mean that rare communities such as the groundwater communities would be lost. A temperature increase of only 3 degrees could change the climate of the current alpine area to subalpine. Climate change could result in the loss of biodiversity and the extinction of species with a limited climatic range. This includes up to 40 of the alpine plant species in 70 years and the reduction of other species. The predicted changes in temperature and precipitation would eliminate the climatic range of the endangered mountain pygmy possum. It would also lead to the migration of species to higher elevations, alterations to catchment hydrology and geomorphologic processes. Other negative impacts include the expansion of some plant communities such as tall alpine herbfield, which would negatively affect more sensitive plant communities such as short alpine herbfield. It is also related to the altering of competitive advantages of plant species in certain communities. The predicted decrease in snow cover would lead to changes in the fauna which seek protection from the cold. There would also be an increase in weed species, pests, feral animal species, catastrophic climatic events and wildfires in the subalpine and alpine zones. High levels of UV radiation are believed to be related to the rapid decline of several alpine and subalpine frog species.
Okay, so another negative impact is recreational use and tourism. Tourism to the area is increasing, especially in summer. Tourism and recreational activities cause habitat destruction, modification and fragmentation. Over 1 million people per year visit the Kosciuszko National Park alpine regions, mostly for bushwalking, sightseeing, educational tours, hiking, bike riding and snow skiing activities. There are 3 major snow resorts within the Kosciuszko National Park, which include accommodation, restaurants, ski lifts and all other associated infrastructure. Human impact is one of the greatest risks facing the Kosciuszko National Park, and many of these risks overlap or integrate with other identifiable risks to the alpine region. The following risks arise from recreational use. Weed impact, introduced plant seeds and foreign plant material brought in with tourist and supply chains. Roads, walkways, tracks and trails all open the plant community to weed invasion. Soil impact, soil compaction, vegetation loss, degradation of catchments and soil erosion from road and track runoff. Water and soil pollution, sewerage, urine and fecal contamination, hydrocarbons from cars, trucks, plant and equipment and garbage generation. Plant communities, trampling, walking off tracks, high visitor rates at peak time, noise from all the sources impacting on fauna activity, light pollution, bogan moth and other nocturnal animals confused by lights from ski fields, and air pollution from motor vehicles and fauna death by vehicle impact.
Another negative impact includes the introduction of species. Introduced species pose many risks including predation, competition, altered grazing regimes, habitat degradation and interbreeding. The introduction and spread of plants and weeds from human activities poses a major threat to the diversity of the ecosystem. They compete with the native species for resources, prevent the recruitment of native plant species, change the populations of native species, alterate the nutrient content of soils, spread exotic diseases and pathogens, and alterate the aesthetics of the area. In 2002, weed species accounted for 27% of all the vascular plant species in the park, with 2/3 of them being in the alpine and subalpine areas. The introduction of animal species such as brumbies, pigs, dogs, foxes, cats, hares, etc. poses various threats to the ecosystem. Feral horses invade the alpine area, especially in summer, causing negative effects from trampling and selective grazing. Introduced species and feral animals cause vegetation damage and destruction, soil erosion, formation of new tracts, decreased water quality, loss of palatable plant species, the decline and extinction of native species due to competition, the spread of exotic diseases and pathogens, reduced aesthetic qualities, and genetic contamination. Humans also assist in the spreading of weeds, exotic diseases, and pathogens such as Phytophthora. And another negative impact from human includes stop grazing in alpine huts, and another is also modification of hydrological processes from the snowy hydro.
There are also positive impacts to the environment, which includes conservation efforts, national park management, zoning, soil conservation, I don't know how to say that, and limits on overnight visitor numbers, and also scientific research.